Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
Y'all, this
just
is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll. Gives me chills. I feel like we're watching something in the past almost. It's so amazing. Welcome to DBL. I am Tori. I'm in for Jeff, and we do have our British expert, Stephanie Jones. Thank you so much for joining us, Steph, to give us your take. Your context is so important to the story here. It was what you just saw was everyone singing God Save the King at Queen Elizabeth's funeral on this historic day. Billions of people all over the globe tuned in to watch the Queen's official state funeral earlier today at Westminster Abbey. King Charles was there, looked emotional as he said his final goodbyes to his mother. The king left a handwritten note on top of the Queen's coffin, reading, "In loving and devoted memory, Charles R." The king was joined by the rest of the royal family, including Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, who sat directly behind the king and Queen consort Camilla. President Joe Biden and his wife Jill were also there, and they got a chance to pay their respects to the Queen just before the funeral began. 2,000 other VIPs were also in attendance, including Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, the President of France Emmanuel Macron, and members of other royal families. Here's a portion of the sermon read by the Archbishop of Canterbury. Pointed remarks. After the service, the Queen's coffin left Westminster Abbey and was followed by a long procession through London on the way to her final resting place at St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle. So it turns out this funeral is known as Operation London Bridge. It took decades to plan, and the Queen herself had a really big part in planning it. So I wanted to know, Steph, I have chills. I don't know. It just feels historic, you know? I don't know why, but how did you feel? How did you feel it went?
I think honestly it couldn't have gone any better. I think all the years of planning, the dedication to making sure every little detail was just perfect. You could clearly see everything fell into place. And I know literally just a couple of years ago, they even planned and prepared her vigil. So they had a big RAF, which is our Royal Air Force hangar, and the military would practice around that every day, you know, making sure that when they did do the vigil, which went on for like 5 days, everyone knew what to do, where to stand. And obviously the royal members of the family have all had to do that too. So I think honestly it went perfectly. I think she should have been very pleased, and I think you know, it's a really sad event, but I think it's brought everyone in England together for something that is history.
Yeah.
This is something we will remember forever.
Yeah.
And it probably will be the biggest monarchy funeral that I've ever seen. We've not seen anything like that since Winston Churchill.
Yeah, I don't think people have ever had a different queen in their life. I mean, that's the queen for everybody. Your family's in the industry. What do you feel about having, I wanted to know.
It sounds like you're talking about the music industry.
She's in the industry. She's royal. I want to know what you think about planning your own funeral while you're alive.
I think it's a wonderful thing to do. It's a great gift to the people who you're leaving behind, especially having all of your affairs in order.
Yeah.
Just the idea of, like, you know, especially of the past couple years, like, we have been dealing with so much death, some more than others, and I know that it made things easier for some of, like, the people that I know, that people had their affairs in order. Like, it's just, there's so much going on when someone passes away, especially when they die unexpectedly. In this case, this is a woman who made it to her 90s, so she had lived such a full life. But there are a lot of people who are up in age, and they just, for whatever reason, decide that they don't want to make those moves.
My father, you know, planned out everything. When he passed away, you know, like, everything was laid out, you know, the car insurance will, like,
was it really?
Yeah, he was a lawyer. So, like, it looked like a lawyer passed away. But, you know, as I'm looking at this, speaking of, like, planning your funeral, I've always said, I understand when somebody young passes away, but if you make it to a certain age, you start planning your funeral. I kind of do like when you see circle lines in New Orleans and things like that. What we're looking at is whether we're looking at the UK or New Orleans or any culture, a way to celebrate that this person lived a life that we all recognize. And there is a transition going on, whether it's going to be from Big Mama to the next Big Mama coming up or from the king to the queen. It's going to be people that are going to lead us into this next generation. I think that is the importance of these traditions, and people might say it's too much pomp and circumstance, but I kind of, if you live till you're 90, yeah.
You get to
I don't
have
care if
that.
it's the queen or your grandmother, like everybody should be celebrated.
I know what you mean, and speaking of that, just so you know, people who, what they look like, Kate wore a pearl necklace. That pearls are very important, I know, for funerals in Britain. They're not as showy.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and this is from the queen. She gifted her that. Princess Diana also wore that choker. Meghan wore a pearl earring set that was given to her by the queen that she wore when she first met her publicly. But listen to this. Charlotte, the little one, had a horseshoe brooch because the queen loves her horses. Oh. And they love all animals as well as the corgis, which we want to show you. We're waiting for her coffin, and we want to make sure everyone sees that. There they are, the corgis.
Bless them.
That one's had enough.
I know, one is like,
That's like a little kid at the end of Disney World.
He's
Yeah.
like, I'm done. What's going on, though, with the royal rift? Well, Prince Harry and his brother, Prince William, walked side by side following behind the Queen's coffin today as it made its final procession through London. But over the weekend, Prince Harry was allowed to wear his military uniform as he stood vigil at the Queen's coffin with Prince William, although the Queen's initials, ER, were removed from the uniform, which, according to reports, left Harry devastated. We're also learning the king reportedly called to let Prince Harry know his grandmother had died just 5 minutes before the public announcement, well after he let his other son know. And now, according to the Times of London, Prince Harry said he wants the public to stop talking about his feud with his brother and focus on the Queen. But all these things make us talk about the thing. So what are you talking about the thing here?
Okay, so to try and wrap it as quickly as we can, first of all, when you are not in the services anymore, even if you've been in the services, the military, and you leave, you no longer wear your uniform. I know in America it's very different, but once you leave the services, you don't tend to continue to wear your uniform, first of all. And second of all, I really hate the comment about everyone saying that Harry only knew moments before she died, because I was the other side of the world and I knew that she was passing literally 7 hours before she did. So I think it's completely ridiculous, it's scandalous, and like Harry is himself saying he does not want to focus on that, he wants to pay his respects to his grandmother, and we all should be doing exactly the same. We shouldn't be adding fuel to the fire, it's very disrespectful.
It just seems like the fire is what keeps things going, unfortunately. It's like the tabloids, they're like, we'll give you 3 days grace to mourn your grandmother, and then we're going to do what we do. And this is all we do, is we stir the pot, and you guys keep buying these magazines, so we're going to keep stirring the pot. So that's why I always said, yes, we can go after tabloids and all that kind of smear campaigns, but they work. That's why people do it.
Absolutely, it keeps it alive.
Right.
I will just say, at the end of the day, it is just a grandson mourning his grandmother.
Absolutely, and he's been there with William and Kate, and so has Meghan, every single day. They've been visiting all over the different parts of the United Kingdom. They've been like mourning with the people. All 4 of them, they've been absolutely fantastic.
Thank you for that. We appreciate that, Steph. Coming up on DBL, actor Jon Hamm is telling us what it was like to take on a role originally played by Chevy Chase. Those are some big shoes to fill, Al.
Yes, they are. What was I supposed to say there?
That was it.
Okay.
And Enrique Iglesias shocks the internet as he locks lips with a fan during a meet and greet. We're talking all about this very friendly interaction. Coming up next.
Closed captioning provided by Just a
Hey, just stopping by to say we're taking over. We're made of this. We're taking over. You know what time it is. We're taking over.
Can I ask you guys a question? Do we call Post Malone Post? Like, is that his name?
I think
Or his nickname is Posty. I mean,
No one's ever called him Posty.
like, isn't his name like Bill?
Probably.
Right?
Well, how do you come up with post?
Yeah, Post Malone.
It doesn't sound great by itself,
Maybe
but it
it's like
sounds great
hit
with
the
the last
post.
name.
It's
Post Malone sounds great.
See, I think
Is it
Post
from
Malone.
Hit the Post?
Is what?
I
His
thought
real
Post
name is
Malone was, like,
Austin.
Would make sense.
Just so you know,
Chris, is it a reach for
Yes,
Karl
it would.
Malone, who played in the Post? His first song was called White Iverson.
and it's, I just felt it the
What
way
about
it's
it?
I know.
His first hit
I'm a
single was
tennis
called
boy.
White Iverson.
Not very good.
Okay.
And Post Malone, I'm
too.
thinking Karl Malone in the Post.
The
If he's a-
Postman.
Yeah.
Me too.
That was his nickname, right?
Yeah,
Karl Malone,
so
the
like-
Postman. Is that where he got it?
Oh,
That's what I'm-
Post Malone, like Carl posted up.
Yeah.
I mean, now
Actually, his nickname was the Mailman.
oh,
So
now
not so
you're
much.
taking me away to a different
Karl
scenario.
Malone was the mailman.
Emily,
Yes.
Post office.
I don't know why. Continue.
I don't know. Somebody needs to look that
Why
up.
Post Malone say
Hitting the
Post?
post
He
in
got it from a
radio
name generator.
is when
he got it from a name
you
generator.
speak all the way
Post is
up
his
into the
last name.
first word of a song. So it's like when you hear a DJ kiss the beginning of a song by like ending what they're saying and the song starts, it's called hitting the post.
Oh, it is?
Yes, that's how you separate the professionals.
That's
Like,
right.
Right
I
as
like
the
when they
beat's
talk
playing.
right up to it.
Me too. I'm just learning now. It's Austin
Oh, I used to
Post.
practice all the time.
It's so great.
Would you listen to the song like the night before to know like when they start singing?
No, but you just know, like, you just get to the point where you're playing so many of the same songs over and over, you know exactly what the rhythm is.
Yeah, hit that post.
Oh my God, stop. That's amazing.
Welcome back. What happens in Vegas doesn't always stay there, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you're Enrique Iglesias, excuse me. A fan got frisky during a meet and greet with the singer who turned her face to kiss him right on the lips. But he doesn't pull away. In fact, he seems to hold her closer while she takes a photo with her phone. But get this, Enrique is the one who posted this video on his own Instagram page. Now, if you did not know why I'm freaking out, Enrique has been with Anna Kournikova, the tennis star, for 20 years, and they share 3 children together. Erica, thoughts?
I mean, sis, like, she seems incredibly dehydrated, child. Like, the thirst is so real in that video. I have secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah.
Now, I know that people think that this is funny, and this is clearly he thought it was, wasn't that big of a deal, or that it was funny.
Assaulty, right?
No, don't bring that.
No, it just feels like she was really thirsty.
Yeah, he's a famous, good-looking dude.
I know, but like, it just feels that I don't know. I don't
not doubting
understand
the thirst.
this.
Steph, what do you think?
I think it's a bit. I think he posted it himself for a bit of PR management because if he posts it and says something, it sounds better than someone going to his wife being like, "This video going all over the internet of this woman."
He got
and her
ahead of it.
husband. So I think he got ahead of it himself. But I agree with Erica. I mean, how embarrassing.
Yeah, I also
Just stop. And like, he's a public figure. He's not going to push her off and get off me. In
Well,
front
that
of
was my
hundreds of
question,
people.
Steph. I wanted to ask you guys. Okay, he's
I think he handled it
ladies' man,
kind of
right?
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he is a fan that represents probably what most of his fan base looks like and feels like towards him. So I saw him trying to put his hands somewhere. They didn't always land where maybe they probably should have. But I wonder, like, what should he have done in this
But he
situation?
gets security.
Because I know, but that's going to kill his image to his female. Oh yeah, if you hug me and kiss me, I'm going to have you arrested. I mean, I
You
don't
can
know
see
what he would do
dives
in that
off. Like,
moment.
the minute she's a bit looser, he's gone, and he's also kind of going like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then like she looks like she's almost going to fall because she's pushing on him more, and then he kind of supports her, and then he's out of there.
And security does walk up. I would have requested security at that point, but
Oh,
I also do love fans if you want to come. Anywho, Post Malone, I don't know if you heard about this, took a little spill on stage during a concert in St. Louis while performing his song Circles. So listen to this. He fell through a circle. There he is. Oh man, that hurt so bad.
that's like
in the
his
stage.
ribs.
It hurt his rib. You're absolutely right. That's used to lower his guitar. Medics quickly rushed over and actually had to walk him off the stage. So here's another look at the fall from a different angle. All right, so here we go. And
Oh my.
Because he didn't know his hands weren't
That's
even out,
bad.
right?
That's
Post,
bad.
he did return, just so you guys know, 15 minutes later to finish out the show, and even stayed after to sign autographs. So Post reportedly bruised his ribs, but told his fans on Twitter that he's on pain meds, I'm sure he is, and will be okay. He also apologized to fans for falling and delaying the show.
I could see that.
Yes.
Well, there's a famous Future thing where he falls off the stage, because you can imagine how pitch black it is, and you're walking out kind of on that catwalk.
And he was almost backwards, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that the stage manager allowed there to be a gaping
How
hole
did that
in the
happen?
middle.
I mean, these things happen. Will they still have their job? I don't know. But I'm just glad he's not broken it. It looked, never mind his rib, his leg, his
Yeah,
knee.
he could have snapped it.
Yeah, it could have
yeah.
been much, much worse. I'm
I
glad the
fell
medics-
through a deck season 1.
Season 1?
Yeah, before we even
remember
started.
Mexico.
Yes.
Tell that story, please.
I was getting out of this little spool thing, and the deck part was like a little dry rotted, and my leg went straight through it. And I was lucky I didn't snap my leg because I hit so hard. But I was bleeding profusely, and then it ended up being this whole thing. I still have
You have a huge scar, don't you?
I still have a bruise. That was 5 years ago, and I still have a bruise on my leg. So it's like, yeah, that's not fine.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I hope Post Malone posts that he's okay.
I really quickly,
Yeah.
first time I ever did a theater, it was with Joe Rogan and Charlie Murphy, rest in peace, and I had never done a theater before, and I walked out, and you don't realize how dark it is. It's dark except for the microphone, and I walked, and I heard a noise, and I looked to my right, and the stool was right there, and I didn't see it, and I was just like, if I had been 6 inches over my first show ever, I would have tumbled over the stool. I had no idea it was there. I was like, so you can't
really
see
dark.
anything.
It is
Yes.
really dark.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
It is. That's funny. I would have loved to see that. I would have paid. Coming up on DBL, our interview with John Hamm, aka Don Draper. He's reflecting back on his time with Mad Men.
Suffer from pain?
The push to get updated COVID-19 boosters into arms ASAP is an effort to get ahead of a possible fall or winter surge. But when it comes to rolling up sleeves for a flu shot already, when it's hardly even sweater weather, people have questions. Let's verify. Is it too early to get an annual flu shot? Our sources are the CDC, FDA, and MedStar infectious disease Dr. Glenn Wortman. Flu shots change each year in an effort to target the strain scientists predict to be most prominent and are effective for about 6 months.
One of the most difficult things is we never know what flu season is going to be like.
The CDC advises against getting vaccinated too early because protection may decrease over time, but defines too early as July or August. The recommendation is to get vaccinated before the flu begins to spread, and guidance says September and October are, quote, generally good times to get the shot. So no, in mid-September, it's not too early to get an annual flu shot. But since flu season can last well into the spring, Dr. Wortman is among the doctors recommending an October vaccination for those who can wait.
Possibly if flu season goes on until March, April, you might not have as much benefit from the flu shot towards the end of that season. So if you wait to get it until October timeframe, then your immunity would last longer until the spring.
But he and the CDC advise it's better to be a bit on the early side than to not get a vaccine at all.
If there's a question that you might not get it at all because you're so busy, then it's better just to go ahead and get it now.
The CDC does point to a study, though, showing people who get the COVID-19 booster and the flu shot at the same time, like what's being offered at clinics like this one, are more likely to experience slight side effects like fatigue and achiness, but the study shows those tend to go away pretty quickly. With your Verify, I'm Abby Larico.
Welcome back. He is the star behind Mad Men's Don Draper, and now John Hamm is starring as Fletch in a remake of the classic comedy. Earlier, he shared what it's like stepping into a role first played by Chevy Chase. Take a look.
Hey, John, welcome to DBL. We can't wait to dive right into your new movie, Confess Fletch. We hear it's hysterical. So Fletch was originally, though, played by Chevy Chase. Did you ever, as an actor, feel pressure to do it his way?
So what we really looked at was the original novels, of which there are 10 or 11, written by Gregory MacDonald from the 70s and 80s, and we thought there's an opportunity here. There's an opportunity here to basically introduce this character that we all know and love that's very funny and very unique to a whole new generation of hopefully fans and people that maybe aren't so familiar with the Chevy version, and kind of put our own stamp on this character. And that's what we did. You know, we really focused on the mystery aspect of the story. We focused on kind of the globetrotting aspect of what makes this so exotic and fun. And to that end, we shot in Rome, we shot in Boston. We really kind of broadened out the world of this guy and told what is a really fun, funny mystery.
This is really coming full circle for me because I used to watch Fletch every day. Remember, John, when there was just one HBO and you just had to watch whatever was on? For one summer, the original Fletch was on, so this means a lot to me. I was with my mom in St. Louis, and like this means a lot. So there's been a lot of chances to kind of remake it, but it hasn't really taken over the years. So how were you the guy to finally pull it off?
You know, part of it, I think, was, as you said, it's time, you know, and time, there's enough time has elapsed that people are, you know, there's, like I said, a whole generation of kids and fans and people, movie fans that aren't familiar with that. And so, the will was there. We had the great blessing of the estate of the late Gregory McDonald. So we were able to we were given the freedom to tell the story the way we wanted to. As Top Gun ably proved, people are ready to go back to the theaters.
John, I'm such a big fan and a big fan of Mad Men, so I got to sneak in a Mad Men question here. It ended with your character, Don Draper, having that aha moment, followed by that iconic Coca-Cola commercial. So, people want to know, I want to know, did Don Draper create that iconic ad? Ooh. And did Tony Soprano die at the end of Sopranos?
He knows everything, right?
You got any Walter White questions you want to throw in there while you're at it? I think that the point of the whole ending of Mad Men was that, Don comes to the realization that what he is at his core is an ad man, and that's what ends up bringing him back to that moment of clarity. And the Coca-Cola ad being as iconic as it was, I think, yes, obviously that in the real world was created by a non-fictional character, but I think in our world we decided that was the kernel of that was Don's idea, and that was his shining moment of zen at the end of it. So. Thank you for being, and sharp-eyed viewers might, if they go to see Confess Fletch, might see a little Mad Men reunion in this film as well.
Ooh. I like little Easter eggs in there.
I love that. Okay, so another project that a lot of people are talking about that you've now joined is the cast of The Morning Show. What can you tell us about your character, and is he based on anyone, like other similar characters in that series?
Yeah, I can't really get into the specifics of it, or I think someone from Apple will come and hit me in the knee with a very cool, well-designed white bat. All I can say really is that I was thrilled to be asked to be a part of that show. I love the show. It's full of actors who I've looked up to and admired for years, and it's always fun to get a chance to work with the A-team, and those guys are certainly that. I look at my career and how lucky I've been, and growing up in St. Louis, if I could tell myself in 1989 when I graduated high school that I'd be getting these opportunities to reboot Fletch and to work with Jen Aniston and Reese Witherspoon and Steve Carell and all those guys, and Tom Cruise, right. I certainly understand how lucky I am.
Definitely
You've done it right for yourself, John.
Thank you, John. We appreciate you. DBL Nation, Confess Fletch is in theaters now.
Awesome.
We'll be right back. Thanks, John.
Man.
That was amazing.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
People on social media have posted messages honoring Queen Elizabeth II, but not all of them are real or tell the whole story. So we looked into some pictures that are circulating on social media using these sources. First up, many companies in the UK are paying tribute to the late monarch. This viral picture that was liked 30,000 times and was featured in a New York Post article claims to show a McDonald's kiosk with a portrait of the Queen. Using reverse image tools, we confirmed the original picture was taken in 2017 for a blog about McDonald's unveiling its new kiosks. No Queen in sight. The actual image showed a welcome screen where users can place their orders. So, no, there is not a McDonald's kiosk with a portrait of the Queen. This image is fake. Next, this Twitter user claims they're unable to use their Nintendo 2DS XL until the royal mourning period is over. They posted this image that shows a portrait of the Queen and a tribute explaining why the device cannot be used. A spokesperson for Nintendo in the UK tells Verify it did not lock devices in the UK and said the photo is fake. Image forensics tool Photo Forensics shows where the image was modified. So, no, Nintendo did not lock devices during the royal mourning period. This image is also fake. Some social media users remember the Queen for her wit and subtle humor, like this one that claims Prince Philip once tried to prank Queen Elizabeth by dressing like a guard at Buckingham Palace. Verify confirmed the photo is real, but this isn't a prank. Among Philip's duties was to serve as a colonel of the Grenadier Guards. The photo shows him in his military uniform, which he was photographed in often while serving in his official role. When the picture was taken in 2003, the two were laughing at a swarm of bees that gathered on a dignitary's chair just before a ceremony at Windsor Castle. So, no, this picture does not show Prince Philip pranking the Queen. If you see an image going viral that you want us to verify, just tag us in it at Verify This on your favorite social media platform. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
The biggest coffee chain in the world is getting ready to pump nearly $500 million into its North American stores. Starbucks looking to make its shops more efficient and less complex. The chain says it's seeing a growing demand for new types of service. That includes mobile ordering and delivery. And now, drive-through service makes up 50% of U.S. sales. Now, Starbucks is looking for new ways to get customers in and out. They're designing new kitchens to help prepare customizable cold drinks. The chain also announced a new patented technology that will cut down on brew time for cold coffee from 20 hours to just a few seconds. But the improvements won't just go noticed by customers. Employees will see some new benefits as well, like flexible scheduling, more sick time, and more tips. All of this to help keep employees and serve customers faster. And that's connecting the dots.
Planning any trips this year? If you're flying, Verify can help you save. From getting the best deals to reimbursement for lost bags, we answer your questions. Check out our travel stories at verifythis.com.
Oh man, I'm crazy. Welcome back. Before we go, crazy, I know I am. We have an epic reunion to show you. Check this beautiful image out. Alan Alda, one of my favorite all-time actors, reunited with his MASH co-star Mike Farrell on Instagram. They toasted the 50th anniversary of the show. They starred as wisecracking surgeons, Hawkeye Pierce and BJ Honeycutt. The show debuted on CBS on September 17th, 1972. It is still the most watched finale in TV history. I believe 125 to 126 million people tuned in, and the points was like 60 plus. I get chills just thinking about it.
Yeah.
It was an enormously big deal in pop culture.
And at that time, about 130 million people was probably half the population.
Yeah.
So just think about what the cultural relevance of that is.
That's
Messed up on the last word of the
Good job. It's okay. No one even noticed. Yep. DBL's new every day. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. I might be Jeff. I might be Tori. You never know. Okay.